As was mentioned in the previous presentation on white supremacy and the Solid South, people in the North began to become sick and tired of the expense of occupying the South. Furthermore, they didn't really care to help freed blacks when they had problems of their own. Yes, that's very selfish, but it's simply the way it was. So eventually, Reconstruction did come to an end, and the focus moved from post-Civil War Reconstruction to the new industrial economy. First, there's a disputed election of 1876. It's too close to call. A secret deal is struck between Republicans and Democrats that allowed Republican Rutherford B. Hayes to become president if he pledged to remove all remaining federal troops from the South. He agrees, becomes president, and this agreement effectively ends Reconstruction. There is a major effect of Reconstruction's end. Infrastructure improvements were already a priority, but these priorities sped up even more after the end of Reconstruction. An especially important priority was the completion, and then eventually expansion, of the Transcontinental Railroad. The meeting of two different rail companies completing the Transcontinental Railroad is pictured here. The North was already more industrial than the South. We learned this as one of the weaknesses of the South when we started learning about the Civil War. Now, after the Civil War being over, the Northern economy could refocus on peacetime goods. As the nation's factory system expanded, there was a need for more labor. Freed slaves and immigrants would accept lower wages, and that filled that void quite easily. And as more was produced, new trading partners were also necessary. This is where the story of Matthew Perry comes in. And no, I do not mean the actor who portrayed Chandler in the television show Friends. I mean Commodore Matthew Perry. Matthew Perry signs an agreement with Japan in 1853 that opens up trade with the country of Japan. Chinese goods are also popular enough in the West where the United States establishes the open door policy with China to open up trade. Europe also needs things that the United States has. Nations like Britain needed to trade for raw materials like coal, iron ore, cotton, and oil to run their own industries because, being an island nation, they were limited in the amount of those things they had of their own. The U.S. provided those goods and turned huge profits. You can notice the theme changing here from a war-making state and a state trying to recover and reconstruct from that war, and that transition goes to the industrial economy and capitalism and money-making, and that is where we will move in our next unit. That is the end of the presentation. Please make sure that you take the online quiz. Use your notes. If you've taken good notes, there's really no reason why you can't get a perfect score. Thank you. See you in class.